The phones in the 30 to 35K segment just got some big ass competition. I'm holding the new iQOO Neo 10 that is just launched in India at around 30K. And for starters, this is the first phone in India with the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 4, and that makes it the most powerful phone at this price. But like I always say, there's always more than meets the eye. This is Rupesh, you're watching Sillycorns. Hit that subscribe button because I think you deserve the awesomeness that is yours truly. And let me just get this out straight. Yes, the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 is killer at this price, but what complements this is the LPDDR5X Ultra RAM, UFS 4.1 storage, UFS 3.1 in the 128GB variant. You also get the iQOO supercomputing chip Q1, and there's a big ass 7000mm square vapor chamber. So yes, in short, performance is the big USP here. Now first of all, the new Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 is a big upgrade to 8 Gen 3. Better CPU performance, the NPU is improved too, but the big upgrade is the GPU. I mean, 8 Gen 4 features the new sliced GPU architecture similar to the 8 Elite, and this shows in the benchmarks. The 8 Gen 4 scores way higher compared to the 8 Gen 3 on say the Realme GT6, especially in the GPU test, as you can see in AnTuTu. In fact, if you look at the competition too, it just destroys the Dimensity 8350 in the Moto H60 Pro beat in Geekbench or even AnTuTu. I mean, you can see the difference in both CPU and GPU scores. Also, just to give an idea, it goes neck to neck with 8 Gen 3. It kind of tells you how packed this is, probably the most powerful processor in this whole 30K price segment, and more importantly, this seems to be pretty well optimized. See, day-to-day usage is smooth and nice, kind of expected from a phone this powerful, but gaming intensively is no problem too. I mean, iQOO phones are kind of known for their gaming performance, and this is no different. Something like Genshin Impact runs without any hiccups at all. I mean, even after long gameplay sessions, the temperature is always in control, and we did do an FPS test, and the average FPS was around 59, which is awesome. BGMI is also fantastic on the phone. There is 120 FPS support, and gameplay is, flagship grade, and yes, no heating issues whatsoever. And maybe it's the bigger vapor chamber, maybe it's the optimization, but the performance is just solid, very flagship grade. And to add to the gaming with the supercomputing Q1 chip, you get the ultra game modes. There's frame interpolation, so you can push games to 144Hz with this. There's bypass charging, which is so handy for people who game a lot. It recently got the in-game FPS meter, which you can see from here, but yeah, I would have preferred to see FPS as an overlay in the game. There's also night vision, which overlays a green tint on the display, similar to night vision glasses that were once in BGMI. And this can come in handy in games with a lot of night missions. Yeah, I love night missions. Yeah, this clearly shines in terms of performance, but this is also a pretty feature-packed phone all around. First of all, this is what it looks like. We have the Inferno Red variant, which has a dual tone finish similar to the iQOO Neo 10R, and this has the Neo Power to Win text below the camera module, visible only at certain angles. You also get the iQOO 13 inspired camera module, and yes, there's also the titanium chrome variant if you like a more subtle look. Anyway, the back and the frame are polycarbonate, but the back is matte, so no smudges, and this has all the features. A very good dual stereo speaker setup, which is crisp and loud enough, but there's also the audio booster feature at 200% and 300%, which makes it even louder. This also has the handy IR blaster, NFC is there, the in-display fingerprint scanner that's pretty fast, USB port is a 2.0 port, and this design is IP65 rated, and yeah, 68 and 69 would have been better, but yeah, it is what it is. And what's actually impressive is that this is just 8.09mm thick and weighs in at 206 grams. Impressive because this is packing a 7000 mAh silicon carbon battery that, yes, I'm still testing things, but should last long. You also get the 120 watt PD flash charger in the box, and this charges the phone from 10 to 100% in 31 minutes. Remember, 7000 mAh battery, so this is very fast. And since this is PD, you can even charge your laptops and other devices. As for the display, just look at the specs. A 6.78-inch flat 1.5K AMOLED panel with the 144Hz refresh rate. It's got HDR support and Netflix, YouTube, Prime Video everywhere. And yeah, the videos look fantastic on the screen. It's an LTPS screen, not LTPO, but it's still smooth AF. Outdoor visibility is no problem at all. I mean, it's 2000 nits in high brightness mode, not local peak brightness, so probably the brightest screen in this segment. And I like how sleek the bezels are all around. Now this is a performance-oriented phone, and in terms of cameras, this has the same camera setup as the iQOO Neo 9 Pro last year. So you get a 50MP Sony IMX882 primary camera with OIS, 8MP ultra wide. Yeah, no telephoto, but again, performance-oriented phone. And maybe it's the 8S Gen 4's ISP or the optimization, but in good light, the photos actually look pretty good. Fairly good details, well exposed. I'm also liking the HDR performance so far, as it doesn't overexpose the shot. The colors also look mostly good. Yes, there's some oversaturation at times and some photos have this HDR bloom effect, but not a big deal, and yeah, still early days. In low light too, the photos kind of look well balanced in terms of colors and detail. I even tried out the portrait mode and the edge detection, the blur are pretty good. Yeah, portrait mode shots look good most of the time. But yes, sometimes I did feel that the face was brightened up, and this is, by the way, with beautification turned off. In terms of selfies too, the 32 megapixel camera is pretty solid. I mean, selfies have fairly good detail, they're pretty sharp, and yes, colors look fine too. What I also like is that the front camera and the primary camera have 4K 60 FPS support, and here's a video from the primary camera, and it's sharp, panning is smooth, stability is fine too, but yeah, there is some focus hunting here. Now moving on to the software, this is running FunTouch OS 15 based on Android 15, and this will get 3 years of OS updates and 4 years of security patches, and FunTouch OS, as we all know, is pretty feature packed. I mean, the AI feature is pretty good. It's got live cutout, which is very useful. Live text lets you extract text easily. AI Eraser works pretty well. There's even AI Magic Move, so you can edit your photos with generative edits. There's AI call translation, which is what the name suggests, and you also get Circle to Search, Gemini, the usual. Now, if you're wondering, you do get the lock screen poster feature, which you can disable, and these are third-party apps that come pre-installed, but yes, you can remove these as well. Look, all in all, to kind of sum things up, the new iQOO Neo 10 is clearly a solid option for people who are looking for the absolute best performance around 30K. I mean, the Snapdragon 8 Gen 4 chipset is killer in this price range. It's a big deal, and more than raw numbers, what's great is that it seems well optimized, well tuned in games. I also like that this phone gets most of the important specs just right. So you guys tell me, what do you guys think of the new iQOO Neo 10 at this price? Comment down below. Thanks for watching, and I'll see you in the next one. Awesomeness. See you.